Love it or hate it, the snow isn't going anywhere soon, and it's bringing parts of the country to a complete standstill. In many areas, only the main roads have been gritted. I bet there's been a few broken bones out and about this weekend, but who's to blame for all of this, and have we had enough of it?
Well, here to discuss the impact of the coldest spell in 30 years is Express journalist Dorothy-Grace Elder and comedian Janey Godley. Hello, ladies.
Hello. Good to have you with us. Thanks for making the effort through the ice and snow.
Yes. No problem for
Powered
me.
through to get here. Nothing's too much there. Okay, Dorothy, I'm going to start off with yourself. How do you feel about this whole situation we find ourselves in with the roads at the moment and the ice?
Well, it's a scandal, Michelle.
Well, that's
it is
plain
an
talking.
Absolute scandal.
Okay.
People not prepared for this in Scotland. I mean, whoever would have thought that in Scotland in December and January we'd be fast frozen for a long time. And all this rubbish talk about it being unprecedented is just that, trash. Because last February we had a long cold spell, very similar to this. Not prepared this year. I think it's people doing it on the cheap. I think the Scottish Government is to blame, as well as some of the councils.
Well, I was going to ask who's where the blame lies, but you've already said it's absolutely 100% the government.
Yeah.
Can I blame the sky?
Can you blame this? Are you? Is this an act of God for you, Janey?
This is God. Dorothy's being grumpy, but she said to me out there, "Come and you and I'll hit the car park and do some snow angels."
We'll do that after the programme.
She's dying.
Come on, Janey, it's a nightmare. People fussy back at work. It's a nightmare out there on the
Listen,
roads.
it's the first time I have seen children out playing in 7 years. Nobody's at their PlayStation. They're like, snowballs! Fantastic. And the good thing about the snow, Dorothy, and you have to admit it because it is good, is it's the first time you get to practice walking like an old woman. Michelle, mine is like this.
That's not far off mine, actually.
Is that you and I have got the same? Dorothy's perfected hers, that's why she's grumpy.
I've perfected mine over the years because I once did break an arm.
Really?
When I was young, otherwise I could have been dead. It was a bad fall.
Well, I mean, there's a serious side to this, because I mean, you've got an email there from somebody who in Dundee, I think, who's in Ninewells Hospital.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've got here, actually it was from Laura in Baillieston. She said, "I'm lying in Ninewells Hospital with 5 broken bones after falling in Carnoustie on Boxing Day, and I was only up there for 1 day."
But you can fall in the sun.
Unavoidable.
You can fall in the sunshine.
But old
the sun
people-
blinds you and you can fall, Dorothy.
But it kills them. It kills old people. And the rest who are not yet dead through it, who are frightened to go out of their homes.
She's dead
There's
cheery.
thousands and thousands imprisoned. It is ridiculous.
All right, well,
that we
somebody
have
who doesn't think this is a laughing matter is Jeanette, who's on the phone to us tonight. She's calling us from Ross. Jeanette, what's the weather like, firstly, with you tonight?
Absolutely awful.
Okay. And what's this been like for you? What do you think of the way this has all been handled?
Absolutely dreadful. We're right on the water, and we do see the gritter, but it just seems to come down and look at the scenery.
See? Jeanette, have you tried to... Has anyone give you an explanation as to why it's not been better dealt with?
No.
Your local councillor or your local government, nobody's came to speak to you guys?
No, well, we'll just go with the flow down here. They do come down and they put a bit grit down now and again, but luckily... my husband's got a 4x4, we can get up and down the road, but my daughter went shopping last week and she got stuck about 3 miles up the road, and he had to go and go up and get the shopping and come back down, and that's it. I'm getting an old woman now, but we don't call it the frozen north for nothing.
Thanks very much for your call, Jeanette.
Thank you.
We've had an email here from somebody who's married to one of the gritter drivers, and she says it's time to stop blaming them for the atrocious conditions. They've got to follow orders. People also need to take more responsibility and use salt bins provided to grit paths and side roads. My husband drives a gritter in Argyll. He spent the whole festive season sitting waiting to be called out.
Yeah, these are heroic people who are doing this. I'm not blaming them at all. You can see them sometimes out about 4 and 5 in the morning trying to grit. But if they've run out of salt and grit, what can they do? And that is the ridiculous factor. The councils and the government are trying to blame salt suppliers, who are now almost entirely England. We've lost our salt industry here in Scotland, which is terrible.
That and the oil.
Yeah, but we have. Scotland was a major centre of salt panning for many, many years. But what is happening is that the salt suppliers say we're not really to blame, that councils are ordering too late in order to save money. Now, if that's the case and they're so strapped for cash, what about the Scottish Government? We're always whittling on about health risks.
But what about the Dunkirk spirit of the freeze, going out and helping people? Don't you think that when the cold comes, it makes people visit their relatives more? It makes you check on your granny. I'm not saying the cold is good for community spirit, but if you're saying people are trapped in their houses, surely some criminals would be trapped in their houses.
Isn't that a point,
well?
Dorothy, these days? Someone else is always to blame and the council's responsible for everything. Shouldn't we be ourselves going out and doing something about it? If we all cleaned our own front
Do you remember
paths.
the old days you used to get a shovel and a big brush?
Well, you used to own a pub, Jenny. What did you do? You want your customers to come in.
Absolutely. We used to go out and we sent the ones that weren't too drunk out with some grit, and they gritted it, and the ones who were really drunk fell and didn't feel it because you bowed. But we just got out there and dealt with it. Nowadays it's this nanny state. Everybody tells us to stop smoking and they need to help us and they need to grit the roads and they need to do everything. Put a pair of socks on your shoes, Dorothy. Get out there with a shovel.
Have you cleaned your front path,
Yes, I
Dorothy-Grace
have.
Elder?
And I
Yes,
salted
good for
it
you.
overnight.
Okay.
And you can only do so much.
Yes, you can only do
You
so
need
much.
the heavy commercial
And you do pay your
stuff.
council tax. We tried to find out exactly what the councils had to say about this. We approached 5 major Scottish councils for you today to find out what they've got to say. They were all too busy, apparently, cleaning up the snow and ice to speak to us, apart from one, which is still on holiday for another day. That's another
Cowards.
story. However, COSLA, the organisation of Scottish local authorities, said it's an extraordinary spell of weather, the worst for 30 years. Scotland's councils are doing everything they can to keep the roads network open and to maintain services to the public. There's your answer.
Extraordinary. It's not an answer at all, I'm afraid. It really isn't. We're a cold country, let's face it. The promised global warming has not arrived
know,
yet.
I'm very annoyed about that.
We're in more danger than the polar bears. We are. And you are going to see, well, last year there was 1,000 people hospitalised, serious injuries, some died between Scotland and England in a cold snap. Now it's happened again. You are going to see horrors happening to the innocent public, while government ministers flaff about talking about we must cover up cigarettes, nobody must see them in
snow
shops,
angels.
health warnings, don't serve homemade cakes at children's fetes, but let the public suffer the biggest health risk that we've suffered.
All right, back
in
to the phone
months.
lines now. Pamela joins us tonight from Edinburgh on the line. Pamela, is this a laughing matter for you?
It's not really a laughing matter, no, because I'm actually so fed up with it, it's not true. I live in the capital city of Scotland, and the roads up here are so bad and the pavements are horrendous. A lot of older people live in my area. We can't get up the pavement. We've not been gritted. It's absolutely appalling for the capital city of Scotland.
Have you seen any gritters about in your area?
No.
Have the pavements been treated at all?
No. Not at all.
Pamela, thank you so much for calling. Jenny, this is the problem. I mean, we're talking about roads, but not even the pavements are getting cleared.
No,
I mean, this is when it becomes a hazard.
I'm having a bit of a flip here, but to be honest, it is dangerous, and you have to be very, very careful. And folks should be looking after each other in a sense. But I do think that if we have to wait on the government doing everything, Dorothy, we'll wait till our own birds grow grey. It won't happen. What I like about the snow and when it brings it out is it makes us all have a decent opinion, whether it's adverse or joint. We go for it. Have you got your snowshoes ready, Stephen?
I'm ready for a snowball fight outside in 25 minutes.
You've been
You've got your
putting
good
it all
boots on
day.
this
I've got my big boots
You've
on.
got your funny shoes on. You need to get your boots on.
Dorothy's brilliant. We're snowballs.
Listen, so many texts and emails. Not time to get through them all, but thanks very much indeed for getting in touch with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, just quickly say, Mick in Edinburgh here says, gritters, I'm a wheelchair user relying on a neighbour to get me food. I've been stuck for ages. Ladies, thank you very much.
you.
Good
Thanks for
going.
coming.